Well, good morning. It is December 24th, 2025. It's Christmas Eve and it's 10:17 a.m. in the morning. I am coming on here and everybody's like, "Gosh, she looks like a hot mess." It's okay. I'm not here for popularity. I'm not here for a contest. I'm not here to look the best. I'm not here to have you critique me. I'm not here, I'm here for you to listen to what has to be said. And that comes differently for me. And this is my dog Snoopy. um he's Hi, handsome. So I wanted to come on here because there's been a lot happening spiritually, and if you're following me on Facebook, then you are caught up. And if you're not following me on Facebook, it's under Angela Taylor. It's just my name. I would like to say that I have a ministry called Tattoos of the Heart. It just hasn't come to life yet, but I'm working on that. I battle mental illness, is my belief. And I was diagnosed with ADHD as a child. I was a Ritalin child. I was put behind the bleachers like everybody else who we were called the gifted kids. And so we had our own trailer behind the school. If you were part of that group, then we were kind of the misfits. We were kind of the outsiders. We did our own thing. But you could be a senior in a freshman class because you aren't smart enough to understand it all. Well, I don't know if I didn't understand it or I didn't want to understand it. I'm kind of learning that as I'm now 50 and realizing my spiritual walk with that. I could go real deep, but I'm not going to on Christmas Eve. I'm going to try and keep us focused on God in it and where we're at with everything. And if you're a little confused or you're not understanding or you're like, who the heck is this chick? I get that. I guess the best thing that I can tell you is you have to know my story. I have a YouTube channel. It's Tattoos of the Heart channel, and it kind of tells my story. I tell my story as I go. I've been videoing since January, I believe, of 2024. So it's been over a year that I don't know how many I even have on there. I don't go back and watch them, so I don't know. But I believe that it's probably telling my story. And I think that it's in real raw time that I'm telling my story. I have dates, I have timestamps, I have it all. I also have 190, I think, 4 followers. I've fluctuated between 94 and 96 for over 3 years. I don't think that I've lost a lot of followers, but I don't know how many our followers are actually following, how close they're following. I just believe God in that. And I believe that when God's timing is to align things, God starts to align them. I just keep going in that. And that's really hard to explain to people unless you have a spiritual walk with God to understand spiritually what I'm saying to you. He doesn't talk in code, but if you don't know his word, then it is a code to you. That's the best way that I can describe that. That was good, God. See, suddenly I connect with God somehow, and spiritually I go somewhere with him. And when you allow that and you allow him to enter to you, you allow that and you go, what is she talking about? Well, let's go biblically with that. If Jesus is in us, if we carry the light, if he is the only way, he is the truth, he is the light, and we have learned from that, and we're going back in history and we're biblically starting to put pieces together, and we're going to Revelations. I always say that Revelations is all of God's stories in one. That's God in one, the Holy Trinity. Well, what does Revelations tell us? When every knee shall bow, which means everybody has to believe in the same one God, not gods, God. He has many names. He goes by many names. Why? Your belief system, your traditions, how you saw him, how you were raised to see him, where you saw him, how you saw him in your life, if you even seen him in your life. When God tells us not to judge his understanding, when God tells us that his ways are higher than our ways, what are we judging and who are we judging off of that? God, ourselves, the people, our traditions, our beliefs? If we stick to his word, his blueprint, his way, it will become his will. Well, how do we do that today? Well, I've been posting this morning. Others have been posting. We're aligning. I totally get where they're going with it. I totally understand their perspective. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a gifting. Everybody has a calling. You are choosing that. I don't know how else to word this without it sounding convicting. Slow me down, God. I get it. Slow me down. Because I can get real excited and I can go so fast. That's the going forward. So slow down a little bit. Take a deep breath. You're on the right track. You're just excited because you see it. You see it. And when you see it and you can't unsee it, it's like a snowball effect. And you go, holy cow. But you need it to slow down so that everybody can understand. That was Jesus' purpose, I believe, on the mountain. Sermon on the Mount. He didn't have a microphone, you guys. He just used his voice, and then he had others who helped him who couldn't hear him. Well, isn't that interpreters? Oh, look at sign language. Look at, this is good, God. Look at how we are interpreting God. Are we interpreting him in dance? Are we interpreting him in music? Are we interpreting him in our speech? Are we interpreting him? That's the interpretation of God. This is why worshipers, flag people with their hands up, how we praise him, how we worship, we're celebrating him in our struggles. What's acceptable by tradition? What's acceptable by his word? What's acceptable by everything will determine the all, right? Well, when we look at the prophets, okay, and this is what I just learned this morning, so I'm hoping that this is going to help other prophets. Listen, the way that I was envisioned this, the way that God has showed this to me is very fascinating to me. A collective, a whole is one, right? We all come together in our interpretation of God and our giftings and our understandings of him, right? Prophets have to go outside of that. We have to go beyond that, which makes us chosen, which puts us in a different realm of influence. It makes us unegotistically saying the elite. And I don't know how else to word that without it sounding rude or harsh or... But it's for everybody. And that's what I want everybody to understand. That's where your ego, pride, and your humility have to flip somewhere in this. If you aren't teaching others, then we can't bring in his will. We can't bring prophecy into that. Sorry, my dog just wants to play. I have to work later and I've been sick. And so it's just been a whole thing I had. Anyways, so I'm giving my dog the same time as I'm spending time with God and spending time with you all. It's a balance. It's hard to do. I'm working on it all. Spiritually, this is really hard to do. But what I'm seeing in all of this is if every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. If you look at Enoch, if you look at Noah, you look at the generations, they skipped generations. Well, how did they break off, God, how did they break off those generational curses? Okay, we're going here. You break off the generational curses. When you break off the generational curses, something happens. Something breaks in that, right? Good, bad. In those moments, as you're going through deliverance, you're going to feel it. You have to feel the deliverance. You have to feel it. Oh, discernment. Okay, God. Oh, you're good. So, how do we do that in this world but live spiritually in it? Understanding the sheep and wolf clothing, understanding loneliness, understanding isolation, understanding wilderness. You have to have a different mindset based on where you're at with your walk with God now. Prophets, now. Take his word and use it today. That's our blueprint. So what he showed me is all the devastation. If you go back to Job, everything back to Adam and Eve, everything back to the beginning, everything was prompted by God, and he allowed the devil. He gave the devil permission to mess with them. Why? Look globally at everything is happening. The world is being tested. So on earth, the authority that we hold as prophets is how we unfold this from here. The good of God is what we unfold, because that's his promise through all of this. Does that make sense, prophets? If we align together with God's word, we prophesy this in. There are prophets who are going to go to the dark side of this, but that is a warning sign to us. Those prophets are real prophets, prophesying the warning of what's to come. We already know what's to come. So do those make those prophets right? Do they make those prophets wrong? Do they make those prophets, I don't know. We can look at Moses. We can look at what, separating the seas, the serpents, the changing, the magical part of this, the believing in him. I can go deep with that, y'all. What are we believing in? If we're believing in his word, then we're not questioning it. We're doing it. We're believing in it. So we are already going in with expectation of God in that. That's the expectation that we have as believers moving forward as a collective, all together as one nation. God's law has to matter or none of it's going to work. That's the promise that he gave. That's the Moses' time. I mean, you guys go back to basics and use it today. Otherwise, we can't prophesy further for our generations to keep going in this. We may not see the end. I don't know that. We don't know that. It's God's timing, not ours. We are not the prophets. We are not the messiahs. We are, somebody said to me, the little Jesuses. We're the little Jesuses running around on earth. That's exactly what we are. We're the little Jesuses. We're the angels. We're the, we have different realms of influence in which we are doing his purposes on earth. Our giftings, our talents, our callings, our servant hearts, what we're doing in that is God's purpose for what he's doing new. We're going to evolve no matter what, you guys. That's the eye of God in this. We can't unsee it. We have to go with it. We flow with God in that. It's looking horrific. It's looking devastating. People's lives are at stake. People's lives are gone. We are losing people. We are losing hope. We are losing faith. We are losing generations. There's loss after loss after loss. How do we rebuild that? How do we reunite that? We reincarnate that. That's where reincarnation comes in. We are reincarnating through our grandkids. It skips generations, right? Well, we are a generation to hold those generations together. We are the glue. We are the remnant. We are the last of our generations. Elders, you're the last of your generation. Generations under us, our grandchildren, they are our generations carrying on for us. Our ancestors, we let them go. I know where God's going if you followed me this morning. Souls. Why is it free? There's no price on your soul. Your soul is priceless. Your soul never ends. Your soul reincarnates. So generations, ancestors, all of that matters as we cut off old. Well, why are people not relating to the Bible? Because it's so old. It's unrelatable to these generations. It's too boring. It doesn't have enough umph to it. It doesn't have enough color. It's just bland. It's desert. It's one star. Then they can see all these stars and you want them to concentrate on that one star. And they're going, well, what about all these other stars? So everybody starts to question things. Oh, no, we don't question it. We just go with it. Oh, no, we don't do this. Oh, no, we don't do that. Well, why don't we do that? Well, that's because that's what God says. But if ye don't understand God, you have to have those whys. Oh, why? Boom! What's your why? Good job, God. Oh, so what is your why? Well, in some cases, in some people, your why is internal right now. Why am I going through this? Why is this happening to me? Why? And you have every right to answer those. Every one of you have every right to ask those questions. You have every right to be hurt. You have every right to be angry. You have every right to not understand something. Everybody has that right. We have that freedom. We have that choice. How you decide to do that is between you and God. And if you don't have a relationship with God, this is where you might be lost. And it's okay. We're all lost. We're all still finding our way. None of us are perfect, and none of us are ever going to be perfect, and none of us are going to get this right. But we're learning, and we're growing, and we're understanding things differently in our time, in our era. Does it make anybody better than somebody else? No. I'm going to make this very clear. No. But there comes a time when you separate your humanity from your spiritual walk. There's a break in that. There's a root that somehow gets cut somewhere, you guys. I don't know what that is for everybody, but there's roots being cut. There's things that are being cut that shouldn't, but then there are things that should. That's the wheat and tare of God. That's the reaping what you sow. Well, if you've already paid for it on the cross, are you still reaping it? Or are people saying that you should still be reaping it? Are you sowing it? Are you showing it? I don't know. There's a fine line in all of that of what people see versus who you are versus how you come across. This is why, authenticity, character, masks, who you are, how you are. It's all gonna matter, right? Well, we put on different hats. And I guess that's why they call them the different Godheads. You're a mom, you're a dad, you're a boss, then you're a servant, and you have people that are above you, and you have to stay undercover, and you have to obey, and you have to listen. You may not agree with everything. I don't agree with everything happening all the time, you guys, and I don't agree with a lot of things happening right now. But I don't have authority over some things. And the things that I know I have authority over, I'm going to take authority of. The things that I don't have control over. I know it's not my purpose. I know it's not my calling. I know it's not my leadership skill. I know it's not who I am. I know it's not who I am in it. I know it's not for me. I somehow, some way will know that, and God's going to show me in that. And this is the narrow path. This is the fine line. When I said, you sign on the dotted line, who you sign your soul to is going to matter. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know why, but we're seeing it all. Who, what, where, when, and how. We're prophesying that in His will come to pass. It doesn't matter whether you want it to or not. It's going to evolve. We don't really have much of a choice in that. Now, do we? So what can we control and what can't we control? Can you control the environment you're in, or can you control the choices within the environment you're in? I can only control what I control. I have horrible choices right now. Horrible choices right now. And they're not any better than they've been a year ago. I'll just tell you that right now. If you know me and you know my journey, I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know what's next. I don't know how to become stable in it. I don't know what stability means. I'm not sure that I'm supposed to know what stability means. Is this my stability? Is this my calling? Is this who God has me be? And I don't know that yet. I don't know either. So the questions that everybody may have about yourselves, about others, about me, about my family, about who I know, how I know them, where I know them from, welcome to my world. Hey, get down, please. Sorry, I'm talking to my dog. That's a fine line. That's a fine line of character, authenticity, who you are. And I go, well, aren't those the little Jesuses running around? How do we do that today? How do we characterize that? Do we call them characters in a book, or do we call them family in a book? Because if we look at our world and we want to become one body, then we're all one family. Right? How we see family, why are we supposed to take the orphans in? How we see family, where we see family, are they bloodline, are they not bloodline? Well, why did they line up the way that they did? Why are things aligning the way that they are? I would love to see that pain have a purpose. I would love to see that all of us have a reason to be here. Otherwise, we're just going to let it all fall. We're going to say, yep, devil won. No, and no. Not when we've seen what we're seeing. Not when we know what we know. Not when we know what's coming. The awe of God is that we really don't know what's coming. We don't know what that's going to look like. And to some, that's so exciting. To others, that's scary as heck. So we hold that. We pull back. We do it in fear. What if? What if? What if? I don't know. What if? What if? What if Toto and Dorothy didn't pull the curtain on Oz? Think about that. So as we are watching everything evolve, as we are watching everything move forward, as we are seeing prophecy unfold, good, bad, ugly, whatever, however you want to see this. Everybody has their own point of view. I totally get that. But if I can get you to think somewhere else for just 1 minute. What would that look like to you? Does that give you hope? Does that give you faith? Does it give you a reason to get out of bed every morning instead of just doing this over and over and over with zero results? I can tell you all story after story of things that have happened to me. But here I am. I was sick at work throwing up in a trash can yesterday. My blood sugar was 380 something. I don't have those issues. I've never had those issues. I'm very healthy. Every time I could give blood or plasma, they're like, wow, you're good. You get attacked. And I know that people are going to go here with me and go, oh God, here we go. Yeah, here we go. We have to. If we're going to make change, if we're going to see things differently, if we're going to move quicker, or if we're going to discern better, if we're going to be Holy Spirit led, that's a flow, y'all. That's a flow that only God can do. That is a soul tie that is undeniable in ways that most people probably yet don't know. What are we passing through? What's the in-between? What's the portals? Well, portals are the dark places. And we are supposed to fight the dark forces. It's not a myth, but it looks like one. But those here on earth who are witches get that. Because they can do it. They've seen it. So, it's already in existence. It's already been in existence year after year after year. So what do we do with that? We just let it keep going? We just let it keep doing its thing in the spiritual realm? No. No. Take authority of it. I can't label you as a witch. I can't say this is funny. I spoke with somebody the other day and she goes, well, there's white witches and there's black witches. And I went, yep, I get that. I mean, look at Wizard of Oz. I get the whole concept of that. And it became reality. It's in reality. There are white witches and there are black witches. There are those who can do good with stuff. And there are those who can do evil with stuff. Same stuff. Same crystals, same sage, same incense, same everything. What they do with that, what they prophesy that in, what they say, how they say it, what they chant in, what they do with that, brings the presence of something, right? Mediums, seers, ghost hunters. We can go real deep in healing, and we can go so much further with God in that healing when we start to understand what healing is supposed to look like biblically. Biblically is spiritually. The whole entire Bible is a spiritual journey. And every single person has a different journey in that. What is the one common denominator? The words you use to heal. I'm fascinated by God's interpretation of things to me. I don't know how to explain it all. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how. I don't know why it's so clear, why it's so concise, why it makes so much sense. But I know how people know me. I guess that's the whole point of the presence of God, right? It's a fascinating world to live in, if you see it that way. There's an awe to that that's unexplainable. There's a pull, there's a rush, there's a heat wave of emotions. And it all has something to do with the balancing. And that would be, to me, the 3 in 1. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. 3 in 1. What would Jesus do? That's the mindset, you know? And so every time I watch something, or I hear Jesus's words, or I listen to a song, I see Jesus's walk in that. And it reminds me, it takes me there somewhere else. And I go, how do we see that today? And I go, how do we flip this so that everybody can see God still in a generational gap that is humongous? Well, that's where he took me, I don't know, a year ago or however long ago. And I just kind of gone with it. And I sit here in awe of that. And I go, I have 13 subscribers. And I have 190 something followers. And I go, okay. But then people comment who I don't know that are followers. And I go, okay. And I go, and everything AI and this and technology and what's what, and is it God, and is it somewhere else? Does it come from somewhere else? I don't know. I really don't. I'm sure it does. But I don't know where. But when I hear it, when I see it, I just connect it. And I just go with that. And later on, somewhere along the lines, it reappears, right? But God shows it differently, but it's still his word. And I go, that's fascinating to me. That you still do it. You still make it happen. It's still your will, no matter what's happening in my life, no matter what circumstances, because I'm a willing vessel. No. Be willing. That's a belief. That's an understanding. And I can go, okay. That takes heart space. That takes dedication. That takes team. That takes heart. That takes wings. That takes flight. That takes everybody coming together on a runway that doesn't make any sense. But we all can clearly see the runway, right? Ooh, Stairway to Heaven. Good job. So, yes. Okay? We're rebuilding a foundation somehow. On a solid rock, on a solid foundation that makes more sense in the bigger picture of everything. As we grow, as we do, as we become, right? This could be the greatest ending ever. You know, and I look at it like that. I go, you know, An ending, you know, we read a book and then they do a sequel. You watch a movie and they go, oh, that wasn't as good as the original. Boom! Exactly. It's not as good as the Torah. It's not as good as the original. But here we are replaying it. Here we are doing a sequence. Here we are redoing history. How are we looking? Is it better than the sequel yet? I don't know. I don't know yet, y'all. I want it to be. I'm sure everybody wants it to be. I'm sure we're done. We're tired. We're sick of this. This isn't making any sense. None of it's making any sense, and we're done. It's too much. 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 It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Can we slow it down? Do we need to slow it down? Probably. But there's a lot of us out here. And we're tired. And we're getting kicked in the butt, left and right. And everything is working against us. But we're still smiling. We're still doing. We're still figuring it all out. Merry Christmas, everybody. I love you.